Hello, and welcome back to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co host, Tracy.
Hi, y'all.
Hey, it has been, I don't know, it's been a busy week, a busy couple of weeks for, I guess, both of us. Yesterday, I did a presentation at UMass Dartmouth on the history of Black hair. That was very interesting to nursing students.
I love the intersectionality of it because here's the thing, like when we think back about Dr. Jacquet from Marigold, she makes those satin lined scrub hats and bonnets and things for medical care professionals. Like just think about how difficult it would be to do your job as a woman of color if you have a head full of locks and you're trying to control your locks and keep your moisture and keep your composure with all the microaggressions. Like it may seem like a small thing, but it's really a big thing.
And that is really some of the stuff that I actually focused on was nurses and have the microaggressions that they have to deal with, not only from sometimes patients, but a lot of times their peers and their managers not understanding, the connection that black women, black men have with their hair. I mean, I always started off with we always say it's just hair, but it's not just hair to us. It is really a part of our identity. So it was very interesting. I hope that they enjoyed it and maybe invite me again later. But yeah, it was an interesting day.
I'm pretty sure you'll be back. I love that they had you there. And especially, like you said, it's not where you expected to be able to speak your mind, but just think about, I'm sure you touched somebody with that because as Black people in general, because the men deal with the hair too, we be getting on LeBron James and Jaheim about not having a full head of hair. So, hair is important to all of us.
Yeah, we hear it even more. I mean, we have the Crown Act, and actually, it's not even the Crown Act is not even legal in Rhode Island. It is in Mass. That's a legislation that passed in Mass, but not here. And you still hear about young people not being able to graduate, not being able to walk across their stage just because their hair is different, and choose to style it different.
So,
And it's about control.
do you remember the kid that was wrestling? It was some years ago. It was a young Black male. He had locks, and in order to wrestle, the ref, I think it was, brought him a pair of scissors
Yep,
and
I
made him
remember.
cut his hair. I wanted to fight for him. I was just like,
Yeah.
this is so horrible. This is so
Hmm.
because okay, I can see if they're saying okay, long hair is a hazard, it's a danger. But look at we're in March Madness right now. We've got all these beautiful women playing basketball with all different kinds of hair. If their hair is not getting tangled up, and I see ponytails, I see locks, I see
And you
micro
see it with
braids.
men too.
And these girls, yes, and the men too. And I said, if they can get out there and do this, if, a Richard Seymour can get out there with a head full of locks under his helmet and play NFL, these high school kids can get on the mat with long hair.
Hmm.
That was beyond microaggression. That was just violent.
Yeah,
I didn't like
it
that.
was. That was you said called it. You said
It's
violence.
violence, yes,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
when you have to
No better word.
you might
No
have to
better
fight
word.
violence with violence in those type of situations because if that was my kid, I feel like the whole family would have came out of the stands because there's no way.
Yeah. Well, he was able to get away with it because the kid didn't have any family in the scene.
That was
A
so
lot of
awful.
times they are, they going to other schools, and sometimes the parents don't show up, which is another reason why you should show up, is because there's nobody there to advocate for your kid.
But our kids
You
should
know,
just be safe. They should be able to just be they and like what does that have to do with walking across the graduation stage? So
hmm
this actually got me kind of triggered a little bit because I used to work for an automotive school. Everybody knows I've worn many hats. And so I used to do admissions at an automotive school which shall remain nameless in the state of
hmm
Massachusetts. And one of their criteria for even for somebody that I referred to work there was that you couldn't have long hair past your shoulders. So I
hmm
referred this gentleman, he was a Trinidadian Indian guy,
hmm
beautiful long hair, and he would do the man bun thing before it was even popular. And
hmm
he was offered a leadership role, a director's role. In order to take the role, he had to cut his hair. The man is a financial aid director What does
Hmm.
the length of your hair have to do with giving somebody financial aid?
Yeah.
He cut it. He cut it, and my heart bled for him. And I was embarrassed. And when I went to him, I was like, I'm so sorry that they're even making you do this. He was like, do you know how much they're paying me? He was like, I have no problem. And he cut the hair, but I was so upset about that, and I never forgave them for that. But not even the students could have hair that was long.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's sad. And it's a type of control that people have over other people, to
And those were mostly men. That was majority men.
yeah. Yeah. Wow. So anyway, so that was part of my week. How about you? Anything interesting?
Well, I was in Vegas last week, so hit the ground running, back at work. But yeah, I got to meet Method Man. So, I was not gonna wash my shoulder because he did hug me in the photo and he squeezed my shoulder. So I think we go together now.
Okay. I didn't see the photo. I heard you said it. Was it on your Instagram?
No, I've been cherished. I've been lavishing in this, just looking at his picture to myself, but
Okay.
I will share it. I never share my pics until I come back from vacation.
I'm gonna say something extremely awful.
What's that?
Don't flip out. Now, Method Man is who again?
Okay. So for those avid listeners who are not aware, I am your hip hop head of the duo. So Method Man, aka Cliff
Because
Smith.
I know. If I see his face, I just can't see his face right now.
Okay,
Like
do you
to
watch
know.
Power?
No.
Any of the Power books? What else was he in? Okay, so anyway, Method Man is part of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay. 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 I still can't see his face, but now I know his claim to
I'll send you
fame.
the
Okay.
picture. I'll post the pictures to our Insta just
And I
for
hear
our
people always
listeners.
talk about how fine he is for his age now.
Oh, he's absolutely delicious. And Essence just did like a little some kind of, what did Essence do? I don't know. He's on Essence Instagram right now. Yeah, he looks
Oh,
amazing. Like, and I didn't know he's got to be 6'4". I don't know how tall he is,
okay. Oh,
but I'm 5'5", and when I stand next to him, he looks like he's a foot taller than me.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you ran into Method Man. What else?
Randomly, and after the show, because I went to the Wu-Tang residency Friday night. I went to the
Oh, so
Jodeci.
they have a show out there?
Yes, they have a
Oh,
residency, which is incredible if you think about
uh-huh.
these guys from New York, like the roughest guys from New York, rappers, to have a residency in Vegas. Like, we're living in some of the best times for that. And then Jodeci, Saturday night, JoJo was sick, so he didn't get to perform, which was really sad. But Casey outdid everybody. And then we saw Lunel, the comedian, perform on Sunday.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen her in a long time
And
either.
she tore it up. She also
Oh,
has a residency
get out. Good for her.
Sundays and Mondays.
Everybody needs, these paying gigs.
Yeah, and so actually
Good for her.
hers is with Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Kimmel's comedy club within the Flamingo Hotel. And I
Mhm.
think she's one of two female comics with the residency in Las Vegas. And I think she's the only black.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going on?
Yeah.
All right, Rhode Island stuff? What's going on in
Yeah,
Rhode
we
Island?
back.
Oh, before we even hit Rhode Island, so I had to go over the what is it, the bridge going into Fall River yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And girl, let me tell you, as I'm approaching the bridge and I'm just like looking at it, I'm like, wow, we really take our lives
Oh, because of Baltimore?
over these bridges because that one in Baltimore,
But that was a freak
it
situation because of the ship.
no, it totally, totally. And it was, and let me tell you, I was looking for some ships. I was looking for some cargo ships to make sure that nothing was coming. But we still just we everything is so fragile to a point. And
Everything.
with that cargo ship, it hit the most fragile point. And it was such a blessing that it was in the middle of the night
Yeah.
and that they were able to call ahead and say, this is how this boat is gonna go right now. It's gonna hit hit this bridge, so they were able to clear it, except for unfortunately those six construction workers that were working on the bridge. So it could have been catastrophic, but
Yeah,
it
that was
wasn't.
awful. But you're
Wasn't it?
right. I mean, literally, and I'm not the kind of person that when I go over a bridge, I start freaking out. Like going over a bridge means nothing to me. Flying in a plane means none of that stuff bothers me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, anything can happen at any time.
Yeah.
Like you just never know. So yeah, that was unfortunate. But I had me thinking about our bridge in Rhode Island, just the structural integrity of it
Mhm.
and things like that. But yeah, that was
And
wild.
and people are starting to point fingers on that one. I don't have the whole story on that, so we won't get into it. But I am one of those people that love bridges, like the architecture
Me
of it.
too. Like
I
Zakem, I love to see a beautiful
absolutely.
bridge. Don't
Mhm.
show me a covered bridge now in Vermont, girl, because I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna stop my car, okay, and I'm gonna get out and
Yeah.
take the
Well.
photographs. I love a bridge. I think they're cute.
Mhm.
And you know what also got me thinking about bridges is like, and evil people plug your ears, but if people really want to mess us up as a country, just destroy the bridges.
You said evil people.
Evil people block your ears because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
that's how we became an industrialized society is through
Mhm.
transportation. So if you
Mhm.
demolish the transportation in the A to B, because a lot of that is connecting point to point that hadn't been achieved before. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's like if the bridges are no good, what do we have?
But that is why our president signed the infrastructure bill in 2021. So those
It's not that they don't have the money, it's what are they doing with it's
is
the Accountability
exactly.
Act that he needs to sign next
Exactly. Well,
now.
this one, like we said, Baltimore, that was a whole different case.
Yeah, that was
Even though that you had all these Republicans coming out, and one of the things that they were saying,
mm-hmm.
because the mayor of Baltimore is a young black man. Have you seen him?
No.
He looks maybe 30 something.
You
He's
mean
very
it's
young
no.
and very intelligent, very well spoken, because that's what they
I'm gonna
say.
Google
But
him.
anyway, really, smart guy. And so they're calling it a DEI disaster.
Oh, I've
Didn't
seen this
didn't
DEI.
earn it. Did you see? Didn't
Yes,
earn
I've
it.
been seeing that and it's so annoying.
These people who
Oh, I see
have
him. He's
gotten by
young.
on their mediocrity, huh?
I see him. Brandon Scott, 52nd mayor of
Yeah,
Baltimore.
but these people who have gotten by on just mediocrity in their color. Like I said, one thing a white man can do is he can walk into a room with an eighth grade education and introduce himself to you as Dr. John Connolly, and you won't question it. You go,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, doctor, I'm a heart surgeon,"
Yep.
and you'll be fascinated. You won't go home and Google him to make sure he can do
The
that.
scrutiny is
And I
not there.
know of
The
several
level,
different stories.
yeah,
Excuse me?
the level of scrutiny would not be there for
Exactly. I know several different stories where that has happened, where they have just lied and made up credentials and not even went to medical school or was a army pilot or was a Navy SEAL, just straight out lie. But because of their color, they're able to say, "Oh, this is who I am." And then us who have to work 3, 4, 5 times harder
Mhm.
just to get into the room, you want to say we did not earn it?
I'm gonna tell
Sir,
you why
these are
Brandon
some butthurt
Maurice.
people right now.
I,
Republicans are very, very butthurt and feel left behind because they can't imagine somebody else sitting at the table.
I'll tell you how I know that Brandon Maurice Scott, mayor of Baltimore. I'll tell you how I know this man is an incredible person
How?
because his birthday is April 8th.
Oh my God.
So he got to be the shit. Come on now, Aries, male Aries energy. Let's go. I know he got it. Don't worry about. I ain't worried about him no more. He got
No,
this.
no, I listened to a couple of his interviews, that very impressed. How old is he?
39.
Because I thought he's 39?
30. Well, he will be 40 on April 8th,
Wow. You know what? Black on
2024.
crack. That's all I gotta say, because that man does not look 40.
39 years young. Go
Mhm.
ahead on, Brandon.
And he handled all those races with like class.
And he's
So
been the mayor for 4 years. Like, honestly, his track record sounds like it's okay. I never heard any drama about him
no.
before this. Now, honestly,
He's
Baltimore
no drama now. He didn't
Baltimore
have.
was already crazy. Like, how do you make Baltimore worse? Like, no offense to my Baltimoreans, but Baltimore already had its own situation. Like, I don't envy anyone walking into that as mayor. So,
No, no, but you got they have to have it. So yeah, he seems like he's very on top of it, and
mm,
hopefully doing a great job. He is young, so that's good too.
pay
So
attention, Brett Smiley,
yes,
Mayor
I'm just
Smiley. I'm sorry. Let me address this man properly.
and I don't live in Providence, but I there's a couple of things that he's done and made me a little sus on him. But let's just keep watching because he's only it's been what, a year? A
He's still
year?
new.
He's coming on his second year
He's still
of
pretty
being
new.
mayor. But speaking of, young people taking over things, because I thought that the Baltimore mayor was very young. So there's this big, hoopla with the NAACP Providence. Now, let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you my NAACP story. I have two. So when I first moved here from Boston, I don't know why those balloons, but anyway, when I first moved here from Boston, I joined the NAACP Providence. Whoever does it, who's the admin over there, the greeter over there, it was just very poor. I felt. So I just like, whatever I gave to join, I just considered it my donation for that year. So let's, flash forward to 2 years ago. I decided to join again after COVID because, we're having all these issues with, George Floyd, there's race, there's COVID. What can I do on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
Help out, for people here in Rhode Island. Join the NAACP. Again, radio silence after you take my money. And I even signed up my
So explain
grandson
what you mean by
to be a
radio
junior
silence.
member. I'm
Like,
sorry?
explain what you mean by radio silence when
Oh,
you
I was going. I even signed up my grandson to be a junior member. No email back.
like no
Just
auto response.
no email back, no welcome to the NAACP. These are our services. They expect I guess you're supposed to do that all on your own, go to their website and then, find out when their meetings are. So I reached out to the president who is now their embattled president, and I guess that he has a somebody who wants to take over his position because he's under indictment for campaign fund issues, or it's always something. But it doesn't surprise me. But yeah, never heard anything back, never got an email back. And like I said, I specifically wanted to get my grandson involved, and like they said they had a summer program. Can you tell me about it? It's on the website.
Mm-mm,
That
no, they didn't.
doesn't tell me anything. So
Well, so
that
the
doesn't tell me
president,
anything.
the president, I think when you joined, and I'm not an ageist whatsoever. Like, I believe some of the dopest people are older people. Like my mom, my aunt, her siblings, they're all 77 and up, and they're
Hmm.
lit. They think they're my age. There are plenty
Hmm.
of older people who have energy about them. But the leader
Hmm.
of the NAACP at the time I believe you joined was 72 years old. And then
Yeah.
this person, Katala, who's under indictment or who's being charged,
Well, he's already been charged,
he's been
and
charged.
he's already had a guilty verdict
He
against him.
he
He just
only
won't step down.
apparently he only won the vote by 14 points over this gentleman who was 72 years old. So he came
Hmm.
in, I think it was 2022 that Katala came in.
Hmm.
And so he's had two years, but they were saying that previous to that, he had other charges against him for other fundraising endeavors that he wasn't being transparent about. Now, however, I'm still waiting to see the tax returns of Donald J. Trump. So I ain't even mad at this man. I'm not.
We are never going to see those returns if this man has anything. Well, you know what? Maybe he will release those tax returns because he's selling Bibles now,
He's
and
never
I'm quite sure he
he's
will get a
never
nice
opened the
hefty
Bible
gift on
in
those.
his life. That man doesn't know anything about the scripture. He needs to stop.
Never read it. But anyway, back to Katala. So he actually is being challenged on the NAACP, and this guy, Allen, what's his name? Lejean?
Yeah, I think it's
Lejean?
Lejon or Lawan Allen, and he's
Lejean?
27 years
27.
old.
And he's been a member. And see, and this is where I'm rooting for him. Only because I feel like sometimes, and I know, and I agree with you about being ageist, There are times when you have young people and they're just too full of themselves because they haven't gotten the experience that they need and they don't know how to deal and speak with people. But I find that too, their passion and they're wanting to do a great job because they're not jaded as somebody older might be, like, oh, it's not going to work because we've already tried this. Well, a younger person might be like, well, let's try something else. It could work this way. So I'm looking forward to that because I feel like I don't hear enough about the NAACP. And that could be on me too, because I know a lot of things in our community specifically, you do have to go looking for. It's not going to just fall into your lap. The information is not going to fall into your lap. You're going to have to go look for it. So I get that. But because the last two presidents, in my opinion, have been a little bit lackluster, I'm looking to see some new blood.
Yeah, so I believe it's Lawan. I think it's Lawan Allen,
Go
27 years old, and he has apparently, according to him, a background in social justice. So I mean, he
on.
could very well be the 27-year-old that we need. And honestly, I have not joined or even thought about joining. Although I would love to attend the NAACP Image Awards. So I mean, can I run? Can I oppose Katala? Because I just want to go to the show.
Oh my God.
Okay,
What
that's not
man, we
nice. Let me.
do?
No, we need somebody in there who's serious, and I hope this young
Yeah.
man is serious. But are you thinking about rejoining if
Well, I'm
Alan
already
gets
paid
in?
up for the year. I'm paid up for the whole year.
Oh, you're
I'm
in
a
it. You're
member.
involved.
Yes.
Did you vote?
No, that's on me. That part is definitely on me because I didn't even know
Well,
anything
not
about
really.
this.
It's kind of on them because if they didn't email you like, "Hey, we're voting," I mean,
No, but they should be sending out like monthly emails or meetings. Like I said, I joined the coalition of Black women in Rhode Island, and Angela, she is on top of stuff.
but the key
She's
word being she. That's
she
probably what this is. Bye.
right, exactly. So yeah, she definitely is
No,
on
no
top of
shade to my men, but you guys need
mm,
you probably need
sometimes.
some balance up in there. So
But yeah, so that was I found that to be interesting, and I'm like, and you know what? I am going to reach back out because I've already paid for my year, and then the summer's coming up, and I do want to see if they have anything that my grandson can volunteer and do because he's a member as well.
yeah,
He's
you
gonna
know
be like,
what? I need to,
don't be volunteering me for anything for my summer break.
well, you know how it is with the kids. They need stuff to do. I'm gonna look into it as well. I would be interested. And actually, if this young man takes over, I think I might join.
I mean, I don't know anything about this man. I just know that my last experience and my last. I think the last time I had a little email going with him back in January just to get information, and yeah. So and some like I'll say some of it is definitely on me. I got busy with other stuff, but there's no monthly mailing
But that's
list that they
something that is
that,
like set it
that
and
they could
forget it.
have.
That's very easily set up to be automatic. It's not like someone has to hand write those emails every month if you have a like we have the technology. It is 2024. Like, please.
Well, I was with the Boston chapter, and every month, I mean, that was in the
Shout out to Michael Curry.
'90s, yeah. And we got a monthly email, so you knew what committees you might want to join up, and you would see what they were doing or whatever. And I know that's tedious work, but that's why you had a second who
Okay.
did that stuff. So I have never gotten any type of updates or anything from them, but I bet you come December 31st when my membership is over,
You're gonna get
I'll get
that
an
that renewal email.
do you want to join again? Mhm.
Not the renewal email. That's funny.
Yeah, so no, but I'm gonna look more into it. I feel like, and we've said it several different times. This is a huge year. I really need to be doing something to get Biden elected again. I need to feel like I'm being part of the process, educating people, making phone calls, whatever it is I need to do. That's what I want to kind of work towards because I just feel almost out of panic
Mhm.
that we could have this racist, misogynist, ignorant, vindictive man sitting in the White House. And I saw a guy drive by me on the Washington Bridge the other day. His truck was humongous. Trump stuff all over it.
Those are always the ones. Loud truck.
Yeah, always the big truck.
Polluting the air. 2 big flag poles attached to it.
Yeah, and it was two, and then they had the audacity to have the police flag and all this other stuff, and it's like, you people really, and I think I said this before, I don't understand the absolute hate. If we're all supposed to be American and we disagree on policy, then we disagree on policy. But you listen to Fox News and they're saying liberals, they're evil, they're demonic, they're demons, and we are going to eradicate them out of the United States when they're saying stuff like that. And that I find absolutely appalling and terrifying. So yeah, we have to do what we can. So yeah, I'm gonna reach out to the NAACP again.
Yeah, definitely do that. So one thing I will, to wrap up this segment as we ease into the next part of things, there's a sign that you'll probably see it on people's lawns this year. I might even get one. It says, "Presidents are temporary. Wu-Tang is forever." That's it. That's all I have to say about that.
You've seen it
I've
on
seen
somebody's
it. I saw it last election. Yep.
That is funny. Well, we hope presidents are temporary. The way they're trying to make it go now, they're trying to keep this man in there for
he ain't gonna live another 8, so don't worry about it.
Anyway, all right, well, let's move on to something else, something nice.
Yes, something nice. Let's move it on to something beautiful. So on our socials, on our Instagram at Little State Big Voices, we have been promoting an upcoming event by author Ashton Lattimore, and she's actually doing a tour. It's not just in Rhode Island; she's going to be all over. But this April 11th, at 6 p.m. she's going to be at the Curiosity & Co. shop in Pawtucket. She's not only going to be reading from her book, but she's going to be signing it. So, I mean, that's something that people should, definitely look into if you're looking for something cerebral. You're tired of just going and doing hookah all the time, or you're tired of just going out. And we've been in the house all winter, basically, unless you're ripping and running. So her book is All We Were Promised. And it's basically, I don't know if antebellum is the right description, but it's a period book, so it goes back in time into the friendship between two women who are opposites. But it seems like it's going to be pretty good. And the book actually launches April 2nd. So Tuesday, you'll actually be able to pre-order the book. But if you want to pick up your own copy, you can buy it and get it signed at Curiosity & Company, April 11th in Pawtucket. And again, information will be on our Instagram.
Oh, that sounds like fun. What was the name of the bookstore again?
It's Curiosity & Company.
Say that again?
Curiosity & Company.
Where's that at?
It's in Pawtucket.
Oh, I've never heard of that bookstore.
So it's going to be at Mixed Magic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, in conjunction with Curiosity & Company. So let me back the truck up a little bit. I think Curiosity & Company is actually in Jamestown, but this event will be in Pawtucket at Mixed Magic Theater. So I believe that it's like brought to you by Curiosity & Co. Hosted at Mixed Magic.
That sounds so cool.
Yes.
But
and so it's going to be also a bit of a discussion with one of our faves, Jonathan Pitts Riley, who's on our show earlier in the season. So you're going to get a good word if you attend that event.
So you know that Jonathan Pitts Riley is going to be at the program tomorrow, the BIPOC Writers program at Let's RI tomorrow.
Oh, I'm not surprised. That's awesome, actually.
He's supposed to be taking the professional headshots for people.
Oh, I'm so excited about that because he's an amazing photographer. Oh, I'm definitely going to start picking out my outfit tonight. Okay, girl.
And I just realized that today I saw his name on the flyer, and I'm like, because I had been reading it, and then I saw the information that, like, I guess they sent out an email saying, the vendors asking people to sell some of their work if they wanted, some of their artwork, and then they said he would be doing professional headshots, and I'm like, that is so
if anyone is interested in what Sheeta and I are talking about, It's going to be an all-day event tomorrow at Lit Arts Rhode Island. It starts early in the day and culminates into an open mic from 5 to 7, featuring some pretty amazing writers, people that you might know.
Yeah, it starts at 11 in the morning.
Well, and right,
I was here.
that part's like optional, open house type
Yeah.
deal. Just be there at 5 o'clock for the open mic.
Yeah, I'm actually, I signed up for the open mic, and I just have to piece to read. I haven't done that yet.
I know you are gonna, whatever you pick is gonna slap. I already know. I'm not even worried about
So
that.
I have a novel that I finished, and so I have 2 chapters in the very beginning that I really love. So I'm gonna pick one of those, and they're small chapters. So because the reading has to be 5 minutes or less.
I'll
So
be there.
public speaking, I'm trying to do more public speaking, so I don't get so nervous when I have to do it.
But you don't appear nervous. Like when we were doing conversations with women in media, you just flowed, like you just had that energy, that total confidence. So I couldn't tell if you weren't.
Yeah, I feel like, I guess maybe everyone who does any amount of public speaking, they probably feel the same way. They always feel like they were never on enough.
Got it.
I always feel like, oh, I missed this one thing, or it's something, so it's an ordeal. So I have to respect people who do it and do it extremely well. I just want to be in that category. To when I walk off the stage, be like, oh, I did it and I did it well. Whereas you asked me how it was, it was okay.
But I feel like, like people like Beyonce say stuff like that. You know what I mean? People who are like, who look like they're really comfortable on stage say the same thing. Like they still have a degree of nervousness or stage fright or whatever. So it may not be something you completely get over, but I think it'll be one of those things. Like if you look back a year from now, 2 years from now, you're like, oh my gosh, I look so comfortable, more comfortable than I actually genuinely was. So that's kind of how you look at it.
But yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to. I'm actually looking forward to being a published writer, but hey, I'm working towards baby steps.
Baby steps. And I know how we should celebrate after.
How?
We got to go to Ken, PVD.
Oh, you mean after? Oh, tomorrow night? Oh,
Ken Southern Kitchen. It's their 3-year anniversary, which they're marking tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So
yes.
what's the music like tomorrow?
Got to celebrate the homegirl, Julia. So, listen, I guess I'm going to be out all day in the streets.
I know. Oh, my goodness. Anyway. But also another thing is happening in Rhode Island, too. At the Trinity Rep, August Wilson's Fences is playing. So I think it started this week and it runs until April 28th. And so it's an updated version. So I think I am going to go see it. I was looking for tickets, and they still haven't like sold out all the shows, and there's like plenty of tickets online. So I think I'm gonna go in. I haven't been to Trinity in a long while either. I always forget to check and see what they have playing, because they usually have pretty good theater companies coming through as well.
Okay. That's something to think about too. For people, like I always say, Rhode Island is like robust with culture and cultural activities. And that sounds like, it's right up the alley of someone who's looking for arts and culture.
Yeah, I want to see who these new actors are on stage. But before we close out, we have to talk about something that is just blown up all over the internet.
So I love the segue, because the person we're getting ready to talk about was in Raisin in the Sun.
Sure was. And he did a good job. He was fairly decent.
Didn't see him, but okay.
Okay. You didn't see him?
Didn't see him.
Well, my thing is Felicia Rashad is always going to get me to watch. That's my girl.
Yes.
So that was the reason. I mean, but it was him and Sanaa Lathan, and they were okay. But
I love Sanaa.
Felicia definitely carried it.
I don't care what Sanaa does. I want to see it.
I like her too. I like her. You know who else I like before we get into P. Diddy? Because that's who we're talking about. Regina Hall.
Oh, what about her?
I just want to meet her and just sit down and have drinks and just laugh and talk about just dumb shit all night long.
She does seem pretty cool. So she's a friend in your head.
She's a girlfriend's girlfriend.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, I love her. But anyway, okay, P. Diddy, let's do it.
Mess.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
I always start off. Can I say one
You
thing
can
as I
say
go on?
two things if you want, because there's a lot to say about this.
When Cassie said she wanted that money and he had the option of just going through her lawyer and just paying her the money that she wanted, why didn't he do that when he knew he had all these freaking skeletons in the closet?
Because he's an
So
arrogant bastard.
yep. There you go. I mean, it's definitely his hubris just really got in the way of him thinking that he would never get
But
caught.
why did
And it's
Harvey Weinstein do it? Why did anyone who does these kind of things, there's a level of protection up to a point. Because then what I always say is these people can never act alone. There's always a team
exactly.
of
Mhm.
people behind allowing them to do the mischief. Not that they should be absolved of their wrongdoing, but they need to pull in all the wranglers, all the groomers, all the people who helped make this horrible machine work. Because it's the same thing with R. Kelly. He
Mhm.
was definitely a sick person, but he got a lot of help. And I know Diddy got a lot of help. And I'm sure Cassie helped him to a degree too.
Well, no, she did. Well, let's backtrack and say because one of the things that she described was that it was her responsibility to go on like these different websites and get these men with these big black penises. That was the description that he wanted so that he could have them with other women. And, I guess like a big kind of orgy thing so it was her job to coordinate that.
But a lot of
And
people are voyeurs. Like Hugh Hefner was like that. So that,
no, no, he was actually participating. So but let me finish real
yeah.
quick. So that was one of her responsibilities, but she's saying also she participated and he did as well, but he would fill her up with drugs for that time. And we're not talking about voyeurism. He was actively, I mean, and there was a element of that to it, but he was actively having sex with these different women, Cassie, and orgies. They were having orgies that she was setting up. So, but the problem comes in that not all of them were consensual adults. Some of them were young. Cassie was young
And so
when
just to kind of cycle back, because not everyone's on top of pop culture and things that are happening. So what happened was 2 days ago, his home was raided basically by Homeland Security. So we're talking about like Fed level intervention, and what the charges basically are sexual misconduct. So there are lawsuits and then there are criminal charges, which include human trafficking. So where I
and
want to
that's
be,
a big one for him.
yeah, where I want to be clear is that honestly, like he can have sex with 100 people. Cassie can
Mhm.
Google all the mandingos that she wants to Google and bring them in. It's when you start bringing in people who are not age appropriate. It's when you start bringing in people who are doing things supposedly against their will. So that's where the problem is. Now, mind you, the level that they've taken this to, I've not seen them run up on Harvey Weinstein like this. I don't feel like they ran up on Bill Cosby this way either. This is a little different, but maybe it's more severe. I don't know.
Well, I would think so because with Harvey, there wasn't sex. Was it sex trafficking?
I don't know if he got trafficking, but he definitely had like rape.
It was definitely rape, and as far as I know, I didn't hear anything about underage. But I feel like if you're raping a woman, you're raping a child too, because you're not asking or thinking about somebody's age, especially if you know that you're in a position to take advantage of a very young girl who could be tell you she's 18, she's 17, but she wants a job in one of your movies. So it's easy. So I'm pretty sure there were some underage people in there, but I'm not gonna speculate anymore
So
on that. But for
fun.
him, Diddy, it's definitely the sex trafficking, and I feel like this can of worms was opened because, again, like you said, his ego was so big that he didn't think that not and it might not have anything to do with Cassidy, but I just feel that opened the door and that had a lot of people talking and a lot of people talking to feds. And then you had other people coming saying, well, he raped me too when I was 16 years old. There was a young woman who said that. And people are saying her story is extremely credible. So
Fun fact, Misa
what?
Hilton, who's Puffy's first
Yep.
baby's mother. I hate
Justin's
saying that
mom.
because it demeans it so much. And she's actually an incredible woman in her own right.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Says
far
a whole
more
lot.
than Sean Combs' baby mama. But his
Mhm.
first child's mother, Misa Hilton, was actually underage when they met and started dating.
But what's the age difference though? Because how old is she and how old was he? Like, was he like 20 and she was like 17 or, you know?
So I believe she's younger than me now. I want to say
Okay.
she was like 16, 17, working
Oh,
the record
oh,
label, and he
and he
was
was
like
30.
20s. No, he wasn't 30. He was like
Oh, okay.
20s, which is, you know, listen, black cultures can be different sometimes. How we do things when it comes to like 17 versus like 21, like that's not that far-fetched when it comes to dating in certain areas of
And I
black
don't even
culture.
think that's black culture. I think that's just culture in general. That's like groups around because in the whole get around it is always, oh, girls mature so much faster
The
than
bottom line, the
guys.
lady was in high school. She was in high
Hmm.
school and he was out of high school. So that's
Hmm.
the long and the short of it. When he met and became involved with her.
Yeah.
And a lot of men like women that are younger than them. But again, that's not what
Hmm.
is under scrutiny here. What I also didn't like is that the way it's being portrayed is that his family, aka his children who are adult, but two of his sons were at the home that was raided and
Yep. Justin and Christian were
he
there.
left and fled and the young men remained behind. So I don't know what part of the strategy that was or if he was a captain not willing to go down with his ship. I don't know how it panned out
But
like
then
that.
it turns out that wasn't exactly true.
Oh, was that
You know,
right?
because people were like, "Oh, he was on a plane and he was headed to his plane landed in Bermuda or someplace else," and none of that was true. I don't know where he was. I think he was in New York, but there, some people are saying he had no idea that he was about to be raided, and then others are saying he did know, and then that's why he left. But I don't think I can. There's a lot of things about Diddy I don't like, but I think he's a good father. And I know that might sound
Um,
disgusting, but I think he has always stepped up for his kids. And I don't think that he would leave his sons if he knew that he was about to be raided, that house was about to be raided. He's not, I don't believe he would leave his sons to take that fall.
I think he's always presented himself as a good father.
Well, I'm going by how they react to him and
Yeah.
how they think about him. I'm not, you know, yeah, we see pictures and we see things and, you know, him doing things or stuff with his kids, but specifically Quincy has spoke extremely highly of him, and that's not his biological child. When he cheated on Kim and he got pregnant and he got that woman pregnant Chance, he didn't say, "Oh, you know what? I want to keep this chill with Kim and not bring this child over here."
Mm.
Nope, that
No,
was
he
his child.
definitely
Brought
included all
her,
of them.
you know. So I don't think that he would just drop his kids like that.
And
Now,
again,
him doing what he did,
this is media stuff. So of course all
yeah,
the media
exactly.
stuff is
But
gonna
it's
be
also a lot of gossip too
it is.
involved in, because when you read what happened, that you get no information. It doesn't tell you where he was. It doesn't tell you where he went. It doesn't, you know, you get an idea only because the sex trafficking, and that is it. And everything else is under wrap. All the other stories about his plane, where it was, that's all from social media.
I don't
That
know
hasn't
where this
come
part
out
of it came from, but shout out to my
that
Cape Verdeans because the first place they said he was going was Cape Verde.
way.
I was like, I know
Hmm.
the Cape Verdean people are all like, oh my gosh, she's going to Fogo.
And they were saying Cape Verde because that they were saying that there was no extradition
Right.
there. But
Again, a
you
lot
know,
of
that's just
speculation.
been a lot of speculation, and most of it is gossip.
Yeah.
But do I believe that he did a lot of dirty things? I do, only because of the stories from Cassidy. Because I remember people saying there's been rumors about Diddy forever. I didn't know about these rumors
So
until the Cassidy thing.
here's the thing with this dude is he's kind of got an anger problem. So he's not
Oh,
the most likable person. He's super arrogant, which is not necessarily
arrogance,
there's a lot
definitely.
of arrogance, but he has a lot of anger issues, which was very evident in his Making the Band show. When he was
I
doing that, he was like throwing chairs and doing wild stuff. But he's been known to go off, and I don't know if it's something he does as an act on camera,
mhm,
but he's been known to go off. So he's kind of a loose cannon. But then he also is like a Teflon Don. So think about
mhm,
when Notorious B.I.G. got killed. He manages to get out of it, escape unharmed, and that's traumatic. If your friend dies in front of you, that's very traumatic. But then there was a shooting incident in the club that involved the Prime Minister of Belize, Shine. Shine ended up
okay,
doing time
mhm,
behind that. And, they're saying, well, Shine did the shooting. But who was he shooting for? You're with Diddy in the club. They don't even
mhm,
hardly know who you are, sir. Who are you shooting your gun for? He weaseled his way out of that. J Lo left
mhm.
him immediately after that.
Yeah.
Immediately. Like, and then what else
And I'm
did
pretty sure she witnessed more, and that was just like the icing on the
and
cake
no
at
one is
that point.
interviewing this woman. Have you seen anyone try to interview Jennifer Lopez about their time together?
No, not since like after they first broke up, but no.
I bet she
Maybe
knows a
chase
lot.
that. Mhm,
Shy knows a lot. Mace knows a lot.
mhm.
And Mace, don't forget, Mace left and went directly to the church.
Yeah. Mhm.
It,
But didn't he leave? Didn't he leave? He left to go to the church, and then he didn't he leave the church and come back?
yeah, because he probably needed money. But
Mhm.
what's one of the ways you get out of a situation is you go hang your hat on religion. And I think he saw stuff that was going on, and he's like, I got to give my life over to God, and this is the only way I'm going to get out of this. What
Well, and Usher saw some things too, because he talked about it.
Usher
He
might
said
have
when he
done
was
more
a young
than
man.
C. Usher might have done more
Mhm.
than C.
Okay.
According to some of the rumors, Usher might have been one of the victims, is what people say.
One of the what? Say that again.
Victims.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Again,
that.
speculation makes for
Mhm.
interesting news. And then, of course, the news cycle being what it is, we probably won't be talking about this 2 weeks from now. But yeah, things are going to come out. And I don't know what Diddy has to hide, but he's been raided. And I guess time will tell.
And the thing that bothers me is money can corrupt people. And you can be arrogant, because you have to have a certain level of arrogance to make it in certain businesses. And I believe
Hmm.
that business, you have to have a level of arrogance. Because if you don't believe in you, you can't expect other people to believe in you.
Right.
And I also don't think that, at times you have to be able to, one, speak your mind. Two, you can't always be everybody's friend. You have to there's a tight line that you have to follow. With Diddy or with any celebrity that gets, a certain amount of wealth, why do they turn so depraved? That's
I,
the
I
thing. It's
think
like
it's
maybe it had it in them from the beginning, like Weinstein. Why would you continuously just rape women? Because at the end of the day, you know that you are just raping women.
that's power. That's a power move.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll hear people say sexual assault is less about sex and more about power. And I think when you have money brings control, it brings power. So people who really get off on controlling and manipulation and things like that, money just makes that so much easier because you could
Mhm,
literally buy and sell people. If you think about so all the things we don't really ever hear about, the things that go on in places like Dubai and Saudi Arabia with these people who are filthy rich, flying women out to do women and men to do the unthinkable, right? And so
mhm,
part of the allegations and the rumors that are surrounding this whole Puff Daddy thing are that Young Miami from the City Girls, and I think it's 50 Cent, one of his child's mother, were sex workers, quote unquote sex workers for Diddy.
mm.
And that Young Miami was smuggling pink cocaine for him. I was like, that's probably the wildest rumor that I've heard so far about this.
Now, how old is she? How old is she?
Young Miami, probably late 20s, mid to late
Okay.
20s. She's pretty young. And I never
Is
really
she wait to get him to lock it down with
I
her,
don't.
or
I personally didn't even think that was real. Like I thought the whole thing was
okay?
contrived. Not to mention, he has like a 3-year-old right now, a child that's like 2 or 3.
A little boy.
Diddy
With an
has,
Asian woman, right?
right, a daughter with the woman who's a quote unquote in tech, but she was also supposedly one of the sex workers. Not that she couldn't be a woman in tech and a sex worker. I respect both
Yeah,
professions, but it's just messy.
it is. And I feel really bad for the daughters.
I feel bad for everyone involved. So Young Miami is
Mhm.
30 years old. I feel bad for all of the kids, especially the twins. They lost their mother.
The twins,
And I have
yes.
so many
Yeah.
questions about when that woman died. And immediately when Kim Porter died, I was like, I
Hmm.
feel like Diddy's involved. I'm like, I have nothing
Really?
to base that on. I have nothing to base it on. But I feel that man was somehow. I'm like, why do people keep dying around you?
That part is true. A lot of people do seem to die in his vicinity, but yeah, I mean, in Kim Porter dying, I feel like that was a
And they're
tragedy
saying
because women
pneumonia.
thought she had a cold.
I still have
Didn't she
questions.
like it was pneumonia?
They said pneumonia. I still have questions about that. But,
Because she was young and healthy.
I don't know anything about it. I don't.
But it also could be too, it also could be the failure of doctors to listen to black women when they say that I'm not doing well.
That's true.
So and in how many stories have we heard? We might not even have Serena today if she didn't have the money to pay for her own what was it, x-rays,
Yeah. Well, look
to
at
find out
Kanye,
that she had blood
Kanye West's
clots.
mom.
Exactly.
And even
So and not listening.
yeah.
So that's why I always kind of looked at Kim's death like, it was a failure of doctors. But it could be, something else. But I do feel bad for the girls because, if they're at an age, people are mean and cruel. You got to go to school every day and they're cheerleaders. It's just like this is what I mean when people say it's my life.
Yeah.
It is your life, but you have to think about the people in your life as well when you make decisions.
And social
You know,
media is merciless. Like merciless. So Lizzo, she says she's quitting the industry because she's being bullied online because of the allegations that were brought against her. She's like, I'm done. She was like, I feel like you people don't even want me in the world.
well, I can see that she probably gets some hate mail that she probably hasn't shared, but people online are extremely cruel.
Yeah.
And the things that they feel comfortable saying to another person, even when I criticize like, celebrities and stuff on social media, I try and pull it back because I might be saying something as a joke, but at the end of the day, what if they do see it? Maybe that's maybe that's my own
He's
hubris
just like, oh,
thinking
they might hit me back.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings that much. You know what I mean?
And it's
But there are people
cumulative. It's cumulative. So
exactly.
your comment is one comment, but then a barrage of them. And not to say that Diddy's affected by any of this stuff or even looking at it, but already people have just completely turned on him. He hasn't been in trial. They haven't brought forth the evidence. Nothing. People are just taking the story, running with it, and already making him out to be guilty. So court of public opinion already is he's guilty.
And that's why I say I'm more concerned for his daughters because I don't know what he has done, but I do feel where there is smoke, there's fire. And just going off of the papers from Cassidy's lawsuit, that was enough for me to be like, yuck.
So it's Cassie, and Cassidy is another person.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Cassie.
I just don't want people to think you're talking about Cassidy the rapper.
And I think I said Cassidy several times. First of all, Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
This is how much I do not pay. And I know my Spotify DJ, it'd be like, oh hey, so you're back. We're gonna play a song that you often listen to, and it's her. And I'm like, I don't fucking listen to her.
She has one song. Sis got one song.
What?
Very
like,
beautiful, beautiful
listen to
young
this.
woman. I mean, stunningly gorgeous, but she had one record. And honestly, if she wasn't dating Diddy, we probably would have never heard from her.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think she probably knows that. And
she was with him for a long time. She was with him.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was 8 years.
A very long time.
8 years. So again, back to the girls. That's who I feel the saddest for. The boys definitely, and I hope that they weren't involved in any of this because the whole thing, it plays in my head a lot. The fact that Christian and him both dated Lori Harvey.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
First of all, so he seems like he's literally a carbon copy of his daddy.
Who, Christian?
Yes, not only in looks,
Oh,
because he
really?
looks, he spit him out, but I think he formed him in his own image.
Really?
I think he
Yeah.
did. Who now? Which one dated Lori Harvey first?
Christian. Christian was dating her,
So you
and
would go and date
I
your son's ex-girlfriend?
exactly.
Nasty.
And then that's what I'm saying. For them not to one have a fight, and two, there not be a year or two of Christian not talking to his father. I don't see that had happened. But so, and then just yeah, father and son. I thought that was
I didn't even know
pretty
that. You just schooled me on that.
that's why I look at him and I say, well, I hope the sons were not involved. But that one story just makes me think, wow, it could be.
It's not
It's
looking.
just,
It's not looking
yeah,
good for
it's
Sean
not looking good.
P. Diddy
I'm
Combs.
just gonna wait for it to come out. I want to not read Instagram for my news. I want to see this in an actual newspaper with actual interviews from law enforcement and not, Black Star or whatever.
I'll see what
So,
happens when Gail gets the sit down.
whew, oh yeah. I keep thinking about that R. Kelly one. That was hilarious. Well, anyway, enough of that. Everyone have a great week.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And don't forget to come out and
Go
see
ahead. I'm
us.
sorry.
Don't forget to come out and see us April 9th. We have been receiving all the well wishes from you all and people saying they voted for us in the Motif Spoken Awards, which are coming up April 9th.
Forgot about that.
Coming up April 9th. Thank you guys for voting for us. Keep voting. If you got 2 emails, use both of them. Keep voting.
I know, because you can only vote one time. I'm like, damn, what? I can't spam y'all with all my voting yes. But anyway, all right. Till next time.
Until next time, you know where to find us: Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Little State Big Voices. And we're signing off.
Have a great week.
Take care.